Hello gamers! Welcome to my channel. Today we will be going over my top 5 tips for building ships in the game Airships Conquer the Skies. I really love this strategy game, and one of the best parts is being able to build and test custom ships that you design yourself. The ships that you design you'll come to love and keep tweaking over and over until you've perfected your design. So that's really something that I spend a lot of time on, and I really love spending time doing. So with that, we'll start with my tips. Number 1, decide on a role for your ship. In this game, you can design aircraft carriers, you can design battleships, you can design supply ships, you can design boarding ships. There's a multitude of roles that you can design your ships for. And for this video, we'll be using my Tier 0 Grenadier class bomber. When designing this ship, I wanted something that was that used very basic technology, Tier 0 techs, so you can build them right from the start. I wanted something that was highly lethal, that could take on garrisons, as well as do some ship-to-ship combat. This is what I came up with. This is my Grenadier class bomber. It's a Tier 0 ship. All the techs involved here, none of them are Tier 1 or above. Everything's just Tier 0. We use grenades for weapons, which is a Tier 0 tech, and it's a highly lethal weapon with blast damage of 30. It's not particularly accurate, with a maximum range of 36 meters. And that's the reason why we have the crow's nest up here to increase accuracy. It is very cheap, with a cost of under 600, and a low and super low maintenance cost of $9. It's got a great service ceiling, really high. It can fly high altitude at 287 meters, and its speed is 90 kilometers per hour. So this thing, the role is, it's a cheap, disposable, highly lethal ship that you can use, or at least I can use, early on in my campaigns. And so this is frequently the first ship that I build. It's just a really great ship for taking out lightly garrisoned towns and early or easier monsters, and also does a pretty good job of ship-to-ship combat. Number 2, try to use the minimum crew size. Less crew means lower maintenance costs, and lower maintenance costs means more money for you to build more ships. And so with this bomber, the minimum crew size is 12, and it's designed to be 12 simply because the crew quarters, which I think is the most efficient way of housing crew and air sailors, houses exactly 12 air sailors. And so when designing the ship, I just wanted crew quarters, rather than the other one that you can use, which are berths. Berths have a maintenance cost of 3, and they only provide crew quarters for 3 air sailors. So this provides crew quarters for 12 air sailors and only has a maintenance cost of 8. And so just basic math, if we were to use the berths, we would need 4 berths, which would cost 12, in order to crew 12 crew members. And here the quarters only cost 8, and it provides quarters of 12 for 12 air sailors. It's just cheaper overall. It's also cheaper in terms of overall cost, but it's also cheaper in terms of maintenance cost as well. So the quarters module is significantly better than the berth module. But the point is, use fewer crew so that you can really keep your maintenance costs down. Number 3, use overlays. The U button brings up the overlay design of this design your ship tool. And so I find this to be very helpful in terms of seeing the pathing of your ship, the number of hit points your components have, how fast the water gets. If you have water, this ship doesn't have water because it's meant to be disposable. If I had water though, it would tell you how fast the water would get to each component. Same with repair tools. Ammunition I find to be pretty helpful. Basically, grenades have a reload time of 2 seconds, and with the ammunition overlay, I can tell that the position of the ammo store allows for reloads or resupply of the weapons in under 2 seconds, or resupply of my grenadiers in under 2 seconds, so they won't be waiting too long for munitions before they can use the grenades. And so I find ammunition to be pretty useful. I also like explosion damage and the explosion damage overlay, and this segues into point number 4, which is pay attention to explosion damage. You want to place essential parts away from explosive components or explosive modules, specifically ammo, because ammo causes a ton of explosive damage. It could cause a ton of explosion damage to your ship if it ignites. And so I usually like to put my sort of necessary components, the components that the ship requires to fly. So for example, the suspendium dust tanks, as well as the lateen sail, which provides propulsion. The dust tanks provide lift, and the cockpit, which provides command. I like to place all 3 of those in a place that won't take any type of explosive damage, specifically or in particular for ammo. So for example, you can see here I've placed the ammo down here, and it's not going to explode up into the lateen sail or the dust tanks. So with the ammo, it's just going to take out this sort of the immediate modules around it. And for the most part, that's mostly the grenadiers. Sorry, grenadiers. You guys are all going to die if the ammo explodes. But once the ammo explodes, we won't have any ammo, so we won't really need the weapons anymore. So I like to do that because if the ammo explodes, this ship can still fly, and if it can still fly, it means it can flee the battlefield, and you can you can flee to fight another day. And so that's what I like to do. Number 5, and pay attention to drag. And so here we have the horizontal drag overlay and the vertical drag overlay, which both affect the speed of the ship. Now, where you place your components on the ship actually can make a huge difference. Even minor, relatively, you would think minor changes to where you place your components can have huge effects. And so, for example, here, if I were to move this strut, let's move it down here, or just remove the strut and then place the weapon or the grenadier 1 tile over where that strut was, all of a sudden my speed goes from 90 kilometers per hour to 81 kilometers per hour. And mainly it's because we've added drag here. Basically a place where there's not enough airflow here, so that it's created some drag and it reduced the speed of my ship. Now if I put that grenadier back here and I replace the strut back, the speed is now back to 90 kilometers per hour. So that's a really minor change in the ship, from just moving my grenadier 1 module over and then adding a little strut here. But that resulted in a 10% increase in the speed of the ship. So paying attention to drag, playing around a little bit, using the undo button, which is my friend, and paying attention to the drag overlay, which is usually the last thing I do. Is after I've built the ship and I know that it's fly worthy, I'll play around a little bit with the components, just to see if I can make it more efficient, and make the ship faster by just slight changes in where components are. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 tips for building airships in the game Airships Conquer the Skies. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day and keep on gaming!